country. You don't like our flag. What makes you think that we give a damn about that? There's a million pissed off rednecks just like me. And we're all sick and tired of this bullshit on TV.
Happy Hour is a Tell It As It Is series. You may hear some profanity, things you might find offensive, but that's how I am. I have no filter and no problem telling my point of view. I don't discriminate. I'm simply an asshole to everybody. Hello, everybody. Episode 14. This has been a fun ride. I want to thank you, everybody, again, for your continued support of our show, Pappy Hour. And if you haven't, check it out, on the apps, on Google Play and iTunes. That way you can carry me around everywhere you go. I mean, there's just something about having Pappy in your pocket or in your purse. And when you just don't know what to do, you flip it on, you click my app, you find the right episode, and I give you some divine inspiration. Absolutely, I love it. Okay. Alrighty. So, I want to thank our new listeners. We're getting more downloads in other countries, which is really, really awesome. And I'm really enjoying that. But I want to thank our new listeners in Lithuania and Nigeria. Now, hopefully, I find out that I've got some, relative in Nigeria that was a prince or something that died, and they're going to give me like $20 million, and then I got to give them my social security number and my bank account information right away. Hopefully. And then we got some new listeners in Pennsylvania. So thank you for listening in. And it amazes me that I'm reaching out and getting new active listeners every single episode that we do. And for me, that's been really, really awesome. So thank you again, everybody. We got some interesting topics that I want to, kind of cover today. So we got Colorado. And they're in for what I call a world of crap. Okay, they're going to try and confiscate firearms. Yeah, right. And then you ever wonder how April Fool's Day got started? We just had April Fool's Day about 9 days ago. And a lot of people, probably don't know where that originated from. And Pappy's going to give you the answers. And then, do you know the meaning behind the U.S. flag? Now, that you may be thinking, yeah, it means independence, United States, all that. Where does it come from? What do those individual colors mean? Pappy's going to enlighten you. And then I've got a really great uplifting story that I want to talk about. It's about a school district that turns unused cafeteria food into take-home meals. And then 12 bizarre facts about the U.S. I bet you didn't know. Alrighty, so let's get started. I'm excited. This has been a fun one for me to write this episode, and I just keep adding to it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm adding so much that I may as well just start working on the next episode. So I've been working on 2 episodes at one time. So it's been really cool. All right, so fruit basket. People are going, hey, Ryan, Pappy, whatever you want to call me. Yeah, my name's Ryan, if you can't notice. What's in the fruit basket? Because I keep forgetting to put that. Well, guess what? Now we got fresh eggs. That's right. Pappy's chickens are now laying eggs, and I've got fresh eggs every day. Of course, my eggs are a little small because my chickens are still small, but they will get bigger and better. And I'm telling you, there's something about eating an absolute fresh egg that maybe even the same day or a day or two old that is awesome. It just tastes so much better. So, chickens, they're a lot of fun, but now that it's warming up in Arizona, I'm starting to have issues with the flies. I swear, every time I open up the door, 2 or 3 more of them get in here, and I got to go around like a ninja, swatting flies. So I'm killing it constantly. I'm a killer. Pappy's a killer of flies, that is. Just saying. So what's new? We got a lot of things going on right now. We got a lot of things in the works, and I'm excited. I'm excited about things going on right now. So now, Applebees. I don't know if you're like me, but Pappy loves going to Applebees. That's my old person hangout. I swear, if I say, hey, let's go chill, let's go hang out at the bar, that means let's go to Applebees, okay? Right now, $1 strawberry margaritas. Now, I love their margaritas to begin with, so I had to stop by and try this. So I stopped by, strawberry margarita for $1. $6, $7 later, they're cutting me off, but just fine, That's pretty good drinking. But what's really cool is they give you a regular straw, but they also give you a Twizzler, a strawberry Twizzler, to go with your strawberry margarita. So that's a double whammy for Pappy, because I'm diabetic. I love margaritas. I love Twizzlers. I'm just telling you, great mix. All the margaritas and, Applebee's. You can't go wrong with Applebee's. We've been working on some editing for our new show, Adventures with Pappy. Now, we're getting ready to start a Kickstarter for Adventures with Pappy, because I've been talking to some of my resources and my inspirations on getting my show going. And there's a lot I want to bring to you, with Adventures of Pappy. Ghost towns, paranormal, not the ghost towns, scary ghost towns, like historical ghost towns, mining towns, lost mines, lore, treasures, all that stuff. I want to talk about all that. And, that's been a passion of mine since I was a little kid. And to bring that into a video series, I come up with a lot of really good ideas. And I've been writing several different episode ideas on getting going, and so I thought maybe we get a Kickstarter going. So I'm going to be releasing that Kickstarter probably within the next week or two. So you will be able to help out Pappy make his dream come true. That's right. I'm going to be the next Josh Gates on Expedition Unknown. You're going to see me on Discovery. You're going to see me on Travel Channel. Hopefully, I'm just happy with you all seeing me on YouTube. So it's going to be quite a ride. So I've been working on some editing on some stuff, and Busted Jeeber was here this last weekend helping me, kind of educating the old man on how to do simple editing. And so he got me started. So now we got the ball rolling on that. We've got a lot of footage. Now we've got to figure out how to put it together. We got some movies coming out that I'm real excited about. We got the Avengers End Game that's coming out soon. I'm stoked about that. I'm definitely going to be there. Not necessarily opening day, maybe the next day, maybe on the Sunday or Monday night, the latest, afterwards. But I thought it was really crazy how they have like this. Some of the theaters here in the United States are having a 48-hour marathon. 48 hours of Marvel movies. So that's basically the very first Marvel movie, which I believe was Iron Man #1 or whatever. And it's everything in order all the way up to Endgame. 48 hours. Yeah, I don't know if I could sit in a movie theater for 48 hours. I mean, a couple hours is already, tough as it is. And Endgame's going to be like 3.5 hours or something like that. So hopefully there's going to be an intermission, because I definitely know I'm going to have to pee halfway through the episode or the movie. So that's kind of interesting. There's a couple of TV shows, movies that I want to talk about that I recently saw that's really, really, really cool. There's this new one on Netflix called Highwaymen. Now, this is Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. They are playing former Texas Rangers who are older. They've been retired, and they're called out of retirement to hunt down Bonnie and Clyde. Now, for those of you outside the U.S. that don't really know who Bonnie and Clyde, and those of you that are here that don't really know who Bonnie and Clyde are, they were a husband and wife team that went around and killed law enforcement, robbed banks. They thought they were modern-day Robin Hoods. And they had a lot of people that thought they were heroes, and then a lot of people that really knew the monsters that they were. And they were extremely hard to catch. And this took place, I want to say, back in the 30s and 40s. And so it was really, really hard to get, information back and forth and to get a group fast enough. So the people that Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson play, they were, former Texas Rangers, which at that point had been disbanded by the governor of Texas, I believe it was. And, I really enjoyed the movie. I got to see a different side of the Bonnie and Clyde series Because when you hear about Bonnie and Clyde, you only hear about them. You don't hear about the people that were involved on the investigations and actually the manhunt of Bonnie and Clyde. So with every movie thing we do, we call the Pappy stars. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I'm giving this 4 out of 5. And I've always been a big fan of Kevin Costner's kind of historical movies, JFK, 13 Days. Here's an interesting fact for you. Pappy was in a Kevin Costner movie. I was. Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a movie called Tin Cup, starring Rene Russo, Cheech Marin, Kevin Costner, Don Johnson. It's a golf movie. And there's a scene where Kevin Costner is caddying for Don Johnson, and he kind of gets into a fight with Don Johnson, not like a fist fight, but a verbal thing. And Don Johnson fires him, and then he picks some dude out of the crowd, and then Kevin Costner tries to grab the golf clubs. Well, if you look at that scene for a little while, you look really close in the background, and you see this little white, goofy, freckle-faced, slender, sexy man standing in the background with an orange hat. That's Pappy. That's right. I was in there actually several times in several different scenes throughout that whole little bit. And I got to tell you, that was probably I was just over 21 when I started doing that. And it was a lot of fun being a part of that. And one of the cool things about that is I got to do water for Kevin Costner when I was doing that movie. And so, I was real excited, and so after every take, I would have to bring Kevin Costner a new bottle of water because he would drink a lot of water on sets, especially in Arizona. It was hot, and we were out on this golf course, and, I said, "Here you go, Mr. Costner, here's your water." And, after a little while, he says, "Hey, what's your name, dude?" And I was like, "Wow, my name's Ryan." He's all, "Well, Ryan, nice to meet you. You call me Kevin." So that whole day, it was great. It was like, "Hey, Ryan, hey, Kevin," water back and forth. The next day, I get there, and I go, "Here's your water, Kevin." He goes, "Wait a minute, who? Who are you?" And I said, "Remember yesterday I was your water guy. My name's Ryan." He's all, "Oh, okay, cool. You can call me Mr. Costner." So, yeah, it was kind of cool. But I had a lot of fun, and I've always been a Kevin Costner fan. Waterworld was awesome, even though people said it was a flop. There's so many Kevin Costner movies. The Postman, that was one of my most favorite movies of all time. So, it was really cool to see. Another series that I've been watching, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Hannah. Now, a while back, there was a movie called Hannah that came out about this like CIA agent kind of guy has a daughter, and he raises her because he knows he's going to be hunted down one day, and so she becomes like this lethal killing machine, whatnot. This is actually the series of that, and it's a little bit different from the TV shows or the movie, but it was really, really good to see, that this is kind of like a psychological warfare thing that I could see governments trying to do these days. So I gave that one a 5 out of 5, and it was really cool. So if you get a chance, check out The Highwaymen on Netflix. It's totally worth a watch, especially if you like historical stuff. And another Kevin Costner great of mine, I have to admit, was The Hatfields and McCoys, because knowing that Pappy is a Hatfield, and that was probably one of the most historical accurate movies made of the Hatfields and McCoy series. So that was another one. So sorry, had to throw that in there. So check it out. Hannah on Amazon Prime and Netflix. Highwaymen. Awesome movies. I also went to see Pet Sematary this last weekend, and the remake, it was good. It had a lot of really good spooks in it, and it made me jump once or twice, and a lot of fun. And now, speaking of jumping once or twice, keep your eyes on Ryan as Pappy on YouTube, my YouTube channel. Now, if you subscribe, which you've hit that red button that says subscribe, you will already get this notification when it comes. But Busted Jeeber was up here this last weekend, and we were playing the PlayStation VR. And we did Resident Evil. Yeah, Pappy screamed quite a bit because it was scary as hell. So apparently, Busted Jeeber recorded quite a bit of me playing that game and screaming and, getting scared to death. And it's going to be, I'm going to put it together into a video and get it onto my YouTube channel so you can check that out. So please, if you haven't subscribe. YouTube, Ryan is Pappy. Subscribe to my channel. You can even type in Pappy Hour, and it should bring you to my channel as well. And subscribe. That way, as soon as that video comes live, you'll be one of the first to know. There we go. Now, let's get moving on. Oh, man, I'm already having a blast. 15 minutes into this episode, and I'm all over the damn place. Pappy's crazy right now. It might be this caffeine rush that I'm on. I don't know. But, it is Wednesday, middle of the week. And in my line of work, it starts to begin the crazy-ass weekend that we're going to have every weekend. I want to give a shout-out to two employees, or 3 and 4. I want to give a shout-out to every employee that I've got that works for me. I have the best security guards in the state of Arizona. I've got supervisors that are my field supervisors that are amazing. Josh and Matt. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for everything you do. I got Arnold at one of my sites as a site supervisor. I got Drake as an assistant supervisor. I've got guards all over the place. And if I was to go down the list, I'd name 51 guards. Thank you, all of my employees. You guys are the bomb. My company was ranked in Ranking Arizona magazine this year as one of the top 10 security companies in the state of Arizona. Matter of fact, let's push it up a little for one of the top 5 security companies in the state of Arizona out of over 555 security companies. So that's a little shout out to my employees out there. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right, so let's cover the first little story or topic that I want to cover. Colorado, their legislature okays a bill to confiscate firearms. Okay, so here, this is where it starts. This is where shit is hitting the fan, people. This is where your Second Amendment has not only been violated, but it has been destroyed. Okay? Second Amendment infringement. Okay? The Democrat-controlled Colorado legislature sent a bill Monday to the governor that calls for taking firearms from people who could pose a threat to themselves or others. So this governor, Jared Polis, P-O-L-I-S, I almost want to say P-O-S, if you know what I mean. But anyways, Governor Jared Polis, also a Democrat, has pledged to sign this measure. So right now, apparently, there are 13 states that have this same type of measure in effect. And I am going to be doing some research to find out exactly what those states are and exactly how it compares to this one. So that should be on a later show. But the way this bill works, and it's absolutely freaking ridiculous, the bill would allow family, household members, or law enforcement to petition a court to have guns seized or surrendered. A court hearing could extend the seizure up to 364 days, so a whole year, before you can even actually defend yourself. Okay, now here's the bullshit part of this. Okay, the bill places the burden of proof on the gun owner to get their firearms back by showing that he or she no longer poses a threat. So again, I call bullshit. Okay, I wish I had a button. Bullshit. I wish I had something like that. I'm going to look for it. And you're probably going to hear it after I edit this thing. Just saying. So, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Now, according to what the Constitution is, it's the prosecuting party's burden to show the burden of proof that the person is actually a danger to society or themselves. It is not up to the defendant to provide the burden of proof. It's the accuser, the prosecutor. So why the hell all of a sudden is our rights being taken away from us? Not only the Second Amendment, but then, they're rearranging how the court systems are going to work so it better benefits them? Oh, hell no. So you're telling me you can go out and make any bullshit claim you want. Maybe a family member that wants revenge, or let's just say that ex-girlfriend of yours that said, oh, he was a threat, threatened to kill me. They're going to come take your guns away. And then you have to prove that he said, she said, that that's not true. Well, how the hell do you prove something like that? So I just don't get it. So what if, somebody, a cousin or something, gets mad at you because you won't loan them money or something, then all of a sudden, yeah, he threatened to kill me. Boom, you lose your guns. Now you got to prove that you're actually sane and you're not crazy. I mean, and then is there any recourse for these people that make these claims to find out they're false? I doubt it, which is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so some of the mostly rural counties, in Colorado, their sheriffs said they will not enforce this measure, and they will not spend the money to store confiscated guns. And you know what, those sheriff's officers, I commend you, because you are awesome for protecting a constitutional amendment, a constitutional right. So as far as I'm concerned, if I lived in your county, you would get my vote because you're protecting me as a person, as a citizen, and you're protecting my rights. So this is just another effort by Democrats to take away the rights. And they'll be lucky, honestly, if they don't start a war over this. If somebody was to come to my house and tell me that I am unfit to own a gun, and there's no proof, well, I say, Lord, have mercy on their soul, because shit is going to hit the fan. I will not willingly hand over a damn thing. And I'm not the only one that believes that. So I'm just saying, if you live in Colorado and somebody comes to take your guns, are you going to give them away? You've got my support if you say no. I can go on and on and on about that topic. I mean, it just pisses me off. Damn. Got me all excited, like pissy, and I'm sweating right now. This is crazy. All right, so let's kind of change the subject a little bit. Let's get a little less aggressive. So April Fool's Day was April 1st. And everybody kind of knows this is a date you play tricks on everybody. And I feel bad for some of the people that find out on April 2nd that their girlfriend or, hidden lover or whatnot is still pregnant on April 2nd. There's mean things that people do to each other on April 1st, okay? So it's a date that just, it's known to drive people crazy, insane, okay? It's been celebrated for several centuries by different cultures. Now, the exact origins of April Fool's Day remain a mystery. Some historians speculate April Fool's dates back to 1582, when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar in 1563. People who were slow to get the news and, the knowings of what's going on, because information was very, very slow back then, okay? They failed to recognize that the start of the new year had moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April 1st, which is when the start of the new year was for the Julian calendar. But then they became the butts of jokes and hoaxes starting April Fool's Day. Historians have also linked April Fool's Day to festivals such as Hilaria, 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 sounds right to me, which was celebrated in ancient Rome at the end of March and involved people dressing up in disguises. Then April Fool's Day had spread throughout Britain during the 18th century when pranks were played on others. In modern times, though, people have gone to great lengths to create elaborate April Fool's Day hoaxes. Newspapers, radios, TV stations, and websites have all participated in April Fool's Day. So one of the big ones that I always get every year without fail on April Fool's Day for the last 20 years is somebody calling me to say, I can't make it to work today, or I quit. And then they think it's it's a funny joke, because then they find out the next day they don't have a job because they quit. I mean, and there's been some mean ones. I've seen some on TV where people claim to, like, for instance, restaurants claim to have a certain kind of weird meat, or radio stations have done fake news alerts and stuff like that. And sometimes it does cause a little panic and chaos. But April Fool's Day is a mean-ass day to celebrate. Just saying. All right, so now a lot of us know what the U.S. flag represents. Okay? A lot of us know what we were told in school. Right? But then there are a lot of facts that when I was doing my research about the U.S. flag that even I didn't know. And I'm like, well, you know what? I gotta make this known because, you know, everybody knows Pappy. I'm very patriotic. You know, I stand behind my soldiers. I stand behind my Constitution, my Bill of Rights. I stand behind all those people that have died to protect those rights. I stand behind the police officers, firefighters, paramedics, all the branches in the military, all the first responders. I'm big on that. And so I thought, well, why not share some of that stuff? Why not, you know, kind of help people become a little bit more knowledgeable about things that I'm kind of passionate about, like, for instance, the U.S. flag. So you may know some of the facts of the U.S. flag, but do you know the design means? This, for some reason, is not taught in schools. And as a matter of fact, I don't remember ever being taught this in schools. And it's one of the oldest standards in the world is flags, you know, because they represent your countries or your castle or your heritage or your clan. And I'm not talking like the 3K clan. I'm talking more like the Scottish Irish clans back in the day. You know, it's your siegel. It's your sign of your house. There's all those different things like that. Okay. So the first U.S. flag. Okay. Here's a fact. The first flag was raised by General George Washington as the Continental Army flag in 1776. A red and white striped flag with the British Union Jack were located on the flag. The Union Jack is where we now have stars. Several flag designs with the 13 stripes were used in 1776 and 1777 until Congress established the official design on June 14th, 1777 in Philadelphia. And then that's where the Continental Congress adopted the Stars and Stripes as a national flag. Okay, so on that day, June 14th, 1777, a lot of people don't know that's why we observe Flag Day in the United States. 13 stripes, alternating red and white, define 13 original states in the U.S. The red stripes symbolize hardiness and valor. The white stripes stand for purity and innocence and liberty. The blue is for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. And then the flag itself finally represents liberty, justice, and humanity. Now, there are no records to confirm who designed the original Stars and Stripes, but historians, they believe that Francis Hopkinson, one of the designers or the signers of the Declaration of Independence, probably modified the unofficial continental flag into the design we have today. The State Navy Board of Pennsylvania on May 29th, 1977, commissioned Betsy Ross to sew flags for Navy vessels. Legend credits, though, Ross with having sewn the first flag. Gotta switch my page, sorry. It credits her for sewing the first flag to meet the specifications outlined by Congress. Now, when I was in school, I was taught that Betsy Ross created the U.S. flag. And she's the one that invented it, basically. So come to find that those facts that I learned in school were wrong. The U.S. flag was first carried in the battle at Brandywine, Pennsylvania in September 1777. It first flew over foreign territory in early 1778. Now, in 1814, Francis Scott Key, that name might sound familiar to you, he wrote our famous Star Spangled Banner. Okay. For a while, the U.S. added stripes and stars to the flag when welcoming new states. When Kentucky and Vermont joined the Union, the flag took on 2 more stars from the original and 2 more stripes. So from 1795 to 1818, we actually had 15 stripes and 15 stars on the flag for 23 years. Now, Congress anticipated a crowded fill of stripes, so realizing that so many stripes, if we get new states, new areas within the United States, that it would be crowded with stripes and it would look pretty ugly. So lawmakers decided to honor each new state with just a star, not a stripe, and leave the stripes at the original 13 after 1818. As new states joined the Union, a star was added, but it was decided by Congress to leave the 7 red and 6 white stripes representing the 13 original colonies. The current flag, with 50 stars and 13 stripes, was actually designed in 1958 by 17-year-old high school student Robert G. Heft of Lancaster, Ohio. Go Buckeyes! President Dwight D. Eisenhower actually chose his design out of 1,500 entries. The flag, since its beginning, it's changed over 27 times, and the last star was added when Hawaii became a state in 1960. Today, 15 stars signal one for each of the 50 sovereign states of the United States. It also has the nickname Old Glory, which I've heard quite a bit, but then there's a little bit of history as to why it's Old Glory. So Old Glory was the specific nickname of a specific U.S. flag that was owned by Sea Captain William Driver. He was given the flag by his mother and another woman in his hometown of Salem. He named it Old Glory upon seeing it flying high on his ship's mast in 1831, and then continued displaying it outside his home. So that name later became synonymous. People started calling the U.S. flag Old Glory just because of. Now, did you know that there's actually laws in regards to the flag? Yep, it's called Public Law 829. It's called the Flag Code, which explains the correct use and display for all occasions and situations. So just some of those laws. Unless you're trying to signal distress in instances of extreme danger to life or property, you shouldn't display it with the Union, the field of blue and white facing downward. The flag should never touch the floor and should never be carried horizontally or flat. And it should always float freely. You're not supposed to wear the flag nor print its images on anything that is not designed for temporary use, napkins, for example. And then you're not supposed to use it in advertisements either. And then no part of an actual flag should ever be used as a costume or athletic uniform. So that's pretty interesting if you think about it, right? Now, if a flag can no longer be repaired or be used, it has to be destroyed in a respectful manner, such as by burning. Now, it can be washed and dry cleaned if it gets dirty, or if it touches the ground. Now, the Boy Scouts of America actually have flag burials where you can turn an old flag into them, and they will take care of it for you and destroy it properly. Okay. Now, flags should only be displayed from sunrise to sunset, except during bad weather. And it can be displayed 24 hours a day as long as it's properly illuminated. So if it's dark outside, you must be able to see the flag very, very well. Now, believe it or not, there's actually 3 flags that are apparently on them, or no, 5. 6 flags. Okay, there we go. Looking at my notes here. That reside on the moon. So in July 1969, Neil Armstrong placed the first U.S. flag on the moon as part of the Apollo 11 mission. 5 more Apollo moon landings for missions 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17 resulted in 5 more flags being planted on the surface of the moon. Now, is that actually true or not? Because there's a lot of theories and conspiracy theories that we did not even go to the moon. So that I can't confirm nor deny. Then we got the Pledge of Allegiance, which was written in August 1892 by the socialist minister Francis Bellamy. It was originally published in the Youth's Companion on September 8, 1892. He had hoped the pledge would be used by citizens in any country. The original form, though, of the pledge said, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." In 1923, the words, "the flag of the United States of America," were added, and then it read, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." And then President Eisenhower wanted to add the words, "under God," creating a 31 pledge. So now it says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." That's pretty powerful if you think about it. Same with, the Star Spangled Banner. That's a pretty powerful song as well. And, I got to tell you, my take on the flag is it embodies American freedom, freedom of speech, religion, assembly, and the sanctity of home. I believe it's a living symbol of the nation's law, the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Now, yes, according to the Constitution, you may have a right to burn the U.S. flag, but no, there's plenty of us to kick your ass. Just like my buddy Creed Fisher sings in my opening song. So that's pretty interesting. There's a lot of things that I kind of talked about there that you really don't learn in school. And why that wouldn't be taught in U.S. history beats the hell out of me, because I think those are pretty important facts. As a matter of fact, I would have loved to have known this information sooner in life, because it would have made me respect it even more sooner in life. Just saying. So now I've got a pretty cool, heartwarming, uplifting topic to talk about. So we've got a school district that turns unused cafeteria food into take-home meals. Okay, this is the kind of story that renews my faith in humanity, because every week something destroys my faith in humanity. I'm just telling you. So it's a known fact. 13 million children live in homes where they are hungry. And there's many children that only get meals when they're at school. And when the weekend comes, they go without food. And that's a horrible, horrible, sad, sad fact. And I wish Pappy had a way of getting rid of that. But there are a lot of things that we can do out there. So one school district in Indiana is trying to come up with a solution right in their cafeterias. Now, a lot of schools have a lot of leftover foods. So why not use those leftover foods? They're teaming up with a nonprofit called Cultivate to take leftover food from the cafeteria, repacking it for students to take home on Fridays. So at the start of the program, it's providing 20 students with a backpack with 8 individual frozen meals every Friday until the end of the school year. Now, there are similar programs elsewhere on Long Island in New York, a program called Blessings in the Backpack, which provides food on the weekends to students who might otherwise go hungry. They say as little as $100 feeds one child on weekends for a whole school year. I mean, this is an amazing project. I know a lot of schools offer breakfasts, and a lot of schools offer summertime lunches or breakfast meals as well, so that they can keep a lot of children fed. So that is amazing. And why throw all that leftover food away? Why not repackage it? I'm pretty sure there's plenty of nonprofit organizations in your areas that would say, you know what, let's do this. Let's put it together. And I'm pretty sure you can get backpacks down or donated and you package these foods and you give them to kids to take home, and they may have siblings that aren't even able to go to school that are eating even less. I mean, I've even heard of kids taking their lunches home and they only eat a few bites so that they can feed their siblings. I mean, it's sad. It breaks my heart to hear about. And, I'm going to do whatever I can in my life to make sure that my kids don't have to go through that. And I would love to be able to reach out and help more and more kids as much as I can. But this is a very uplifting story. So if you live in an area, your school district, talk to your principal. Say, hey, what can we do? We have kids that go home hungry. We have leftover food. Why don't we repackage this? Pennies on the dollar is what it's going to cost. Pennies on the dollar. And I guarantee you can get donations for your area to help pay for this. There's plenty of nonprofits in each state in the U.S. and probably nonprofits in other parts of the world that could do stuff like this. And just think about how many more families and children we could feed, how many less empty stomachs there could be. I'm just saying. So keep up the good work for those nonprofits and those school districts. I totally applaud you. All right, so now we've got really cool 12 bizarre facts about the U.S. Now, I researched these. I looked these up. I looked them up on multiple avenues to make sure that this just wasn't some crazy, stupid-ass, thing that some Joe Schmo made up. These are actually legit facts, okay? And if you don't believe me, look them up, because then you're going to go, damn, Pappy does know his shit. Divine information. I'm just saying. I've always been a fan of useless facts. And maybe I need to actually do a segment every week on useless facts of the week. That might actually be fun, and I might enjoy that. All right, so here's some interesting United States facts, okay? And don't get mad at me. There's a few of them that you may get a little pissy with, and I don't know. But I'm telling you, if you're a snowflake, you might not like these. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, there is no official language of the United States. Now, yes, most people speak English, but it's said that there are over 350 languages spoken in the U.S. But legally, according to the government, according to the Constitution, according to the Bill of Rights, there is no language that has been declared the official language of the United States. Now, don't get me wrong. It's obnoxious as hell when I call something, press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, and, I got to do all that. Yeah, it annoys the hell out of me too. And I expect everybody that comes to the U.S. to be somewhat fluent in English, because that is the majority language out here. I get that. But there's no official language. So I thought that was really interesting. And here's a real cool one. 1 in 8 people in the United States has been employed by McDonald's. Now, it's not the largest food chain in the world, but an extremely popular one. And I admit, I worked there in my younger years, my late teens. I worked at McDonald's. And McDonald's says that they hire around 1 million workers a year. So 1 in 8 of us out there, there's 8 of you in standing room, most likely one of you has worked at a McDonald's at one time or another. Pretty interesting. All right, here we go with a third interesting fact. Russia sold Alaska to the U.S. for 2 cents per acre. Talk about a bargain deal. Alaska, the largest state, came cheap for a whopping $7.2 million. Now, in 50 years following America buying that, we've made our money back more than 100 times over. I bet the Russians didn't know about all the gold that was hiding in them hills. Now, no, Trump had nothing to do with the purchase of Alaska. So there's no collusion. Just saying, I'm getting that out there now. All right, number 4. Arizona and Hawaii do not observe daylight savings time. That's right. There's always Hawaii time and always Arizona time. You know why? Because we don't feel like we need to go switch our clocks back and forth. Yeah, we're normal in Arizona and Hawaii. I'm just saying. Now, I'm from Kentucky. I'm from Ohio. But I'm just saying, Arizona and Hawaii, we're normal. We don't need to switch the times to make up times and worry about an extra day, hour of sunrise and all that. Nah, we don't need that. Now, I hear there are other states that are planning on opting out of daylight savings times. So good luck with that one. But many people actually believe that daylight savings time was implemented for farmers. But that's not true. Okay, matter of fact, most farmers were against it. Okay, daylight savings actually started during World War II in the German Empire. Interesting. Alrighty, number 5. Now this one here is probably going to really, let's just say, cause AOC, Alexandra Cortez, our really awesome dipshitty Democrat from New York. So AOC is probably going to literally be brain fried after this one because, this blows her whole new Green Deal thing out of the water. Okay. Cows outnumber humans 3-1 in Montana. The number one industry in the state is agriculture and livestock. There are approximately 2.6 million cattle and just over 1 million people. So I'm sorry, AOC, but you're not going to get rid of greenhouse emissions with all them cows farting. 2.6 million cows farting in Montana. Just saying. Okay. Number 6. Other countries think it's weird that college sports are so popular in the United States. America is the only country that celebrates college sports and elevates their players to elite status. Pretty interesting. As a matter of fact, you don't hear, they watch the NCAA, March Madness and all that, which is in the United States, in other countries, but you don't hear about any other countries' colleges, sports, and all that stuff. Now that I think about it, pretty interesting, right? Number 7, in the U.S., 40% of babies are born to unmarried women. So it wasn't always this way. But for the 8th year in a row, 40% of babies are born to unwed mothers. That's a major thing compared to 1940, let's just say, when there were 3.8% of the babies had unmarried parents. And that number didn't even hit 10% until 1969. Now, I believe that's because a lot of people don't believe they need to be married. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the baby's dad is not living in the house. They could be boyfriend, girlfriend. They could still be fiancés. That, but they're just not married. So that's still kind of interesting that it's 40%. Number 8. Now this one here, of course, they say that U.S. is the fattest in the world. So it says here that 1 in 3 Americans is obese. If you were to ask 50 different people what caused the obesity epidemic, you'll most likely get 50 different answers. Because nobody really knows. Now, the biggest theory is that it comes from all our wonderful fast food restaurants out there. Now, it's said that obesity costs the nation $315 billion with a B in healthcare expenses per year. So that's kind of an interesting fact. Let's see here. Number 9. This one is quite interesting, okay? It is legal for children to smoke. Seriously. No, I'm putting a disclaimer. I don't believe in smoking. I don't like it. No child should smoke. I know, okay, there's disclaimers out there, okay? But seriously, it's legal via a loophole in most states, except Nevada. It's just illegal to buy the cigarettes until they're 18. But nowhere does it say it's illegal for them to smoke. Really interesting. And again, I don't condone it. I'm just saying, getting it out there now. Okay, number 10. Most presidents were born in Virginia. And it's a crazy but true fact. Okay, 4 of the first 5 presidents, Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe. And then we got Harrison, Taylor, and Wilson. So a majority of presidents that we've had in the United States actually came out of Virginia. So that's kind of interesting. And I believe that to be, the first big ones were because it was one of the 13 original colonies, and there weren't any other states, or many other states back in those days until you got to Wilson. Just saying. All right, number 11. Kansas produces enough wheat in 1 year to feed everyone in the world for 2 weeks straight. So unless you are, quote, allergic to gluten, unquote, yeah, I'm throwing my fingers up there, and there was a way to get all of that wheat to everybody in the world can eat for 2 weeks. Now, eating nothing but wheat for 2 weeks would be kind of but I'm just saying. All right, number 12, the final one, okay? And this is kind of crazy if you think about this. There are around 5,000 commercial airplanes flying over the U.S. at any given time. Now, it's crazy to think there's that many planes flying over the U.S. And here we are, looking up, and you don't see that many planes flying by. But it's the safest mode of transportation still to this day. So, that's kind of the thing with that. So those are my interesting topics. I hope you thought they were interesting, because I sure as hell did. Now, I want to rant because, we're coming up. We're 5 days away in the United States. 5 days from tax day. Okay? Hey, now, I am not a Green Party. I'm not a libertarian, but I believe taxation is theft. I really do. Okay? And I want to rant about it because every year we pay our taxes. And then it seems like we get less and less and less back every year. And what I don't get is the government can't seem to pull their heads out of their asses and get a budget done. And they close our government down because they can't get the budget done, but yet they still want us to pay the taxes when the government was closed. As far as I'm concerned, if the government's closed, then I shouldn't have to pay taxes during that time because you didn't do your job to keep the government open. That's what we paid you to do. So yeah, April 15th, absolute shit day. Just telling you. All right, so I've got a random thought for you. This is another useless fact. Okay. Did you know that hospital is actually an acronym? Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, okay? Hospital, HOSPITAL, stands for House of Sick People in Trauma and Labor. Hospital. Pretty interesting, right? I know. Okay. So now I've got a security thought of the week that I want to talk to you about because we've actually had a recent story here in Phoenix, Arizona that really got me thinking about using this story for a whole section. But then I thought, you know what? I'll make it a security, alert kind of thing. So in Phoenix, Arizona, we have an animal clinic employee saw a homeless man touching himself inappropriately as he watched children play at a daycare next door to the clinic. An employee of the clinic said the male was right there in their parking lot, broad daylight. Every single person walking by or driving by could see him with his pants completely down around his ankles. That's when a female tech ran outside and chased him off. The two had words, and he jumped over a fence and ran down an alleyway. A few hours later, the employee was leaving work through a back door of the business, and the man returned. He came up from behind an RV and ambushed her. He put a rope around her neck, and then he brutally raped her, choked her unconscious, and left her for dead. Okay, absolute horrific crime that happened to somebody trying to do a good deed. And I hope the scumbag is caught. And I hope he's tried to the fullest extent of the law. Matter of fact, I hope he doesn't make it. Personally, that's just my opinion. But why am I telling you this story? That's what you're probably asking yourself now. Why would I tell something so nasty like this? Okay, being in the security field, I'm always trying to educate people on good security and safety practices. Always, 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 always be aware of your surroundings. It's easy to let your guard down when you do the same task day in and day out. For instance, leaving work to walk to your car. Most of the time, people are out there looking at their phones. They have their hands full of things. Okay, when I teach classes on safety, I tell people, do not have your cell phone in your hand. Have your keys in your hand, ready to go. If somebody grabs you, guess what those keys can become? A really good eye poker. Use those keys to scratch. You've got your alarm on most fobs or most cars nowadays have a little bit of an alarm of some sort, and you could set off the alarm in your car. Get in your car, lock your doors, start your car, and then look at your phone. Okay. Make sure that you don't have your hands completely full. Always at least have one hand free so that if you need to defend yourself by scratching, grabbing, deflecting, whatever the case may be, you will have that. Okay. And a lot of people really, and I'm guilty of it too, and I teach it because we become so complacent when we do things. For instance, I had an employee, very complacent about his site that he was working, sitting in his car, which he should not have been doing, because we actually have policies against that. But I teach, never sit in your car because you let your guard down. He had his window down, boom, somebody put a gun to his head, and they robbed him at gunpoint because he was not paying attention to his surroundings. So much can happen, okay? And I can't preach it enough. When you walk out, no matter where you're walking out of, stores, even your house, even from your car to your house, be mindful of your surroundings, okay? And if you see someone doing what this disgusting bastard was doing, call 911 and maybe use your cell phone to record the crime for evidence, or have a group of people come out with you. Don't go out alone, because at the same time, you don't know if this person might have had a weapon on them too and turned around and used that weapon on you. Okay, and teach your children the same thing. If they see a crime, call 911. Okay, they can't be afraid to call 911. So my prayers go out to the victim and her family. And, I wish it was a completely different scenario. And I hope they catch this bastard. Just saying. So, it's a sad, 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 sad story. All right, so in closing, because I got about 3 minutes until the hour mark, and I know that your time is precious, and I thank you so much for being with me this last hour and listening to what I have to say, because, it makes me feel good knowing that, a lot of you are taking what I have to say in. I've already gotten a few Ask Pappy questions for the next show. Thank you, Robert and Angela in Arizona, for sending me some ideas. I will be getting to you on that. Absolutely. Please make sure you check out our Facebook page. It's Pappy Hour. Get on that YouTube channel. Ryan is Pappy. Get subscribing, because there's going to be a really funny ass video coming soon. And if you're subscribing, it will let you know. Check out Google Play and iTunes. Download our apps. We're on Spotify. iHeartRadio's got us coming on soon. We are growing. Pappy Nation is getting big. Okay, now I need to do 2 shout-outs today. And you'll probably recognize one of them if you've watched my hot sauce challenge. That's hashtag Fuck You Robert. And then I've got another one, hashtag You Suck Christian. So thank you, everybody, for listening to my show. I can't wait to bring you episode 15 and some of the updates that are coming up. And I really am thankful for each and every one of you. Take care of your families, and God bless everyone.
You don't like our traditions. You say we've done you wrong. Why don't you pack up your bags and take your ass back home? This is my home, and son, I'm mad as hell. I think whooping your ass is worth a couple nights in jail. There's a million pissed off rednecks just like me, and we're all sick and tired of this bullshit called PC. I guess you didn't know, but you don't mess with gently. If you have a right to burn my flag, I have a right to kick your ass.